What if the soup you've been eating for lunch every week is doing more damage to your blood pressure than a bag of chips? That's not a stretch. Consumer Reports has already ranked the best and worst store-bought soups on nutrition, and some of the biggest household names landed at the bottom. We're covering all 14 today, the 8 worst offenders and the 4 that don't come loaded with a salt bomb, so you can stop guessing every time you're standing in the soup aisle. Avoid these 8 canned soup brands. You probably grew up with canned soup as comfort food, something your mom heated up when you had a cold, something you still grab when you don't feel like cooking. That familiarity is exactly what makes this dangerous, because the brands you trust most are the ones doing the most damage to your blood pressure. The FDA caps daily sodium at 2,300 milligrams. For older adults with blood pressure problems, doctors push that down to 1,500. One wrong can at lunch can burn through more than half that in a single sitting, and most people eat the whole can. Number 1, Campbell's Chunky Classic Chicken Noodle. That red and white can has been in American kitchens for over 100 years, and the chicken noodle variety specifically carries this reputation as the safe, simple choice when you're sick, or just need something quick. That reputation is doing real harm. The chunky line runs around 890 milligrams of sodium per serving, and the can holds more than 1 serving. Eat the whole thing, which most people do, and you've just taken in close to 1,800 milligrams at lunch alone. That blows past the entire daily limit doctors recommend for anyone managing blood pressure. Number 2, Progresso Rich and Hearty Beef Pot Roast. Progresso built its name on the idea that their soups taste closer to homemade, more ingredients, more depth, more like something that actually took time. The Rich and Hearty line leans into that hard, but a single can carry 1,600 to 1,800 milligrams of sodium. And that's before you add bread or crackers on the side. Beef broth needs more salt than chicken or vegetable broth to carry the flavor. And on top of that, manufacturers pack in sodium-based preservatives to keep the beef tender on a shelf for years. The sodium isn't just seasoning, it's built into the preservation process at every layer. Number 3, Great Value Chicken Noodle Soup. You pick the store brand because it's the smart move, right? No frills, no marketing budget, just the product at a lower price. But Great Value Chicken Noodle Soup comes in around 890 milligrams of sodium per serving, which lands in the exact same range as the name brands you're trying to avoid. Store brand soups are usually made by the same large food processors that produce the name brands, using the same formulas and the same preservation methods. Buying the cheaper can doesn't change what's happening inside your body after lunch. Number 4, Chef Boyardee Beef Ravioli Soup. It's not quite soup, not quite pasta, and a lot of people grew up eating it straight from the can. That nostalgia is real, but it doesn't change what's inside. A single can runs 1,700 to 1,900 milligrams of sodium, and that's for the whole can, not per serving. The tomato sauce base is heavily salted. The beef filling uses sodium-based binders to hold its shape, and the high-heat sterilization process the can goes through requires extra salt, just to keep any flavor intact after processing. Every layer adds to the total. Number 5, Wolfgang Puck Creamy Tomato Soup. Creamy soups are a specific problem because the dairy masks the saltiness. You can pack in significantly more sodium before it actually tastes too salty, so manufacturers do exactly that. The rich flavor hides what's happening, and the upscale branding makes you less likely to flip the can over and check. Consumer Reports found that premium-priced soups land just as low on nutrition as the budget brands. Paying more buys you better packaging, not better numbers. Number 6, Hormel Completes Chicken Alfredo Soup Bowl. No can opener, no prep, just 2 minutes in the microwave. Hormel markets these trays directly at older adults and people recovering from illness. Exactly the people who need to watch sodium most. And a single tray can push past 1,000 milligrams of sodium before you've eaten anything else that day. Alfredo sauce is already a sodium problem at home because the cream, cheese, and salt stack on top of each other fast. In a shelf-stable processed format, the numbers climb even higher because preservation demands it. Number 7, Market Pantry Cream of Mushroom Soup. Most people aren't eating this straight from the can. It goes into casseroles, chicken bakes, pasta dishes, and nobody's reading the label when they're following a recipe. but a single can carries over 1,800 milligrams of sodium. And that sodium doesn't vanish when you mix it into a dish. It spreads across every serving. And recipes that use cream of mushroom as a base are already pulling in sodium from broth, seasoning, and cheese on top of that. The finished dish ends up with a sodium count most people never track because they're thinking about dinner, not blood pressure. Number 8. Armor Star chicken and rice soup. It sits on the lower shelves, it's cheap, and chicken and rice sounds about as harmless as soup can get. But a single can carries close to 900 milligrams of sodium per serving, and most people eat the whole can in one sitting. Flip it over and read the ingredients: salt, monosodium glutamate, sodium phosphate. That's 3 separate sodium compounds stacked on top of each other. MSG boosts the savory flavor so manufacturers can use less actual chicken and still make it taste like something. Sodium phosphate keeps the texture stable on a shelf for years. Together, they drive the total sodium count far higher than the name alone suggests. 4 that aren't loaded with sodium. Reduced sodium on a label sounds like progress, but it just means 25% less than the original. That can still leave you with 700 or 800 milligrams per serving, which isn't low sodium, it's just less bad. The 4 brands coming up are different. Dietitians point to 400 to 600 milligrams per serving as the range where a soup can reasonably fit into a heart-healthy diet. And the best options on this list come in under 300 milligrams. That's a number you can actually work with. Number 9. Amy's Organic Low-Sodium Lentil Soup. Amy's has been making organic canned food since the late 1980s, and their low-sodium lentil soup keeps showing up on dietitian recommendation lists for a simple reason. Around 290 milligrams of sodium per serving. That's roughly a third of what Campbell's Chunky delivers in the same sitting. Lentils pull extra weight here because they're high in potassium, which actively helps your body flush out excess sodium and bring blood pressure down. The fiber keeps you full in a way that pasta-based soups don't, because the protein and fiber work together. Number 10. Pacific Foods Organic Lightly Salted Tomato Soup. Tomato soup feels healthy by default, right? Tomatoes, a little seasoning, maybe some cream. But most canned tomato soups are packed with sodium because getting that tomato flavor to taste like anything at scale requires a lot of salt. Pacific Foods solved that problem and kept the sodium down to around 340 milligrams per serving. Part of how they do it comes down to the packaging. Pacific Foods uses a carton instead of a metal can, and cartons don't need the same sodium levels to preserve the product, so the numbers stay lower from the start. No BPA lining either, which some metal cans still carry. Number 11. Health Valley No Salt Added Vegetable Soup. If you're under a doctor's order to seriously restrict sodium, most canned soups don't work for you at all. Health Valley does. A single serving carries around 50 milligrams of sodium, almost entirely from the natural sodium in the vegetables themselves. No added salt, no sodium-based preservatives, no MSG. No salt added isn't a marketing phrase. It's an actual FDA designation meaning zero salt went in during processing. Health Valley has held to that standard across their product line for decades, which is rare for a mainstream brand. Number 12. Dr. McDougall's Low Sodium Black Bean Soup. This brand builds everything around whole plant foods with minimal processing, and the black bean soup sits at 290 to 370 milligrams of sodium per serving, depending on the format. But the sodium count isn't even the best part. Black beans carry more fiber and protein per serving than almost anything else you'll find in a can, and soluble fiber actively binds to cholesterol in your gut and pulls it out before your body absorbs it. For older adults managing both high blood pressure and type 2 diabetes, that combination does real work at one meal.